The history of the Thracian kingdoms begins long before they were absorbed by the Roman Empire. Thracian kings were once powerful figures who ruled vast territories across the Balkans. These early kingdoms, such as the Odrysian kingdom, were among the most influential and well-organized of the Thracian tribes. The Odrysians in particular are noted for their unification of disparate Thracian tribes under one centralized rule in the 5th century BCE, marking the beginning of a powerful Thracian monarchy. At their height, the Odrysian kings commanded an impressive army and controlled a wide swath of territory, stretching from the Black Sea in the east to the Aegean Sea in the south. The most famous of these rulers was King Sitalkes, who reigned from around 431 to 424 BCE. Under his leadership, the Odrysian kingdom not only expanded its borders, but also forged alliances with Greek city-states, consolidating its power in the region. The kingdom flourished through trade, military conquest, and political diplomacy. The relationship between the Thracian kings and the Greek city-states was complex, characterized by both cooperation and rivalry. While they traded with the Greeks and often allied with them against common foes, the Thracian kings also resisted Greek cultural and political influence. The Thracians were proud of their independent identity, and their kings took great care to preserve their traditional ways, even as they navigated the complicated dynamics of the ancient world. However, the power of the Thracian kings would begin to wane over time, especially after the rise of Macedon and the expansion of the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great. The Thracians' inability to form a lasting, unified resistance to these growing powers would eventually lead to their downfall, as the Macedonian Empire, and later Rome, expanded their influence over the Balkans. Despite their military prowess and political cunning, the Thracians could not match the centralized power and military might of their larger neighbors. As the Thracian kingdom weakened under external pressures, the final chapter of Thracian monarchical rule unfolded during the 1st century BCE. By this time, the once mighty Odrysian kingdom had been reduced to a mere client state under the control of foreign powers, including Rome. The last significant Thracian king was the ambitious king Rhoemetalcus II, who reigned from 12 BCE to 38 CE. He ruled over a small but strategically important portion of Thrace, including parts of modern-day Bulgaria. King Rhoemetalcus II had to navigate the delicate balance between preserving his kingdom's autonomy and maintaining good relations with Rome, which had increasingly exerted its influence over the region. Though officially a client king of Rome, Rhoemetalcus's reign was marked by attempts to strengthen his position and resist Roman encroachment when possible. He was involved in several political intrigues and alliances, attempting to maintain his kingdom's stability amidst the growing might of the Roman Empire. Despite his efforts, Rhoemetalcus himself was unable to prevent the eventual annexation of Thrace by the Romans. In 46 CE, Emperor Claudius made Thrace a province of the Roman Empire, formally ending the monarchy. Rhoemetalcus was removed from power, and the last vestiges of independent Thracian rule were extinguished. His fall marked the complete subjugation of the Thracians, who were now fully integrated into the Roman world. Although the last kings of Thrace could not prevent their people's fall into Roman hands, their legacy still resonates in the region. Many of these kings, including Rhoemetalcus II, were skilled diplomats and military leaders who sought to protect their people's interests in a rapidly changing world. Their stories offer a glimpse into the tragic yet resilient history of the Thracian monarchy, which had once been among the most powerful in the ancient world. After the fall of the Thracian monarchy, the remaining members of the royal family were integrated into Roman society, with some even serving in various Roman administrative and military roles. Though they no longer held sovereign power, the former Thracian kings and their descendants were granted certain privileges and titles by the Roman Empire. These privileges often included appointments to local governorships or positions in the Roman military, where their leadership experience was highly valued. One of the more notable descendants of the Thracian royal family was the noblewoman Boudica, a queen of the Iceni tribe in Britain who had Thracian roots. While Boudica's resistance against Roman forces was legendary, her connection to the Thracian royal line highlights the complex intertwining of different cultures and peoples within the Roman Empire. It was not uncommon for families of royal lineage from conquered territories to be absorbed into Roman aristocracy, blending their native cultures with Roman traditions. In some cases, Thracian royalty maintained their traditional influence even within the Roman system. The descendants of Thracian kings were often called upon to mediate between the Roman authorities and the local populations in conquered regions. Their status as former rulers and their knowledge of local customs made them valuable assets in the administration of newly acquired provinces, including Thrace itself. However, despite the privileged positions some Thracian royals enjoyed, they were ultimately subsumed by the overarching power of Rome. The process of Romanization swept through Thrace, transforming its political and social structures into Roman models. As a result, the once proud monarchy that had dominated the region for centuries faded into history, leaving behind a legacy of cultural adaptation and survival, even as their political independence was lost forever. Though the Thracian kingdoms and their kings no longer exist, their legacy continues to influence the modern cultures of the Balkans. The descendants of the Thracians, though often absorbed into Greek, Bulgarian, and Turkish populations, still retain a deep connection to their ancient past. Thracian names, rituals, and folklore continue to permeate the cultures of the region, especially in areas that once formed the heart of Thrace. The memory of the Thracian kings lives on through archaeological discoveries that shed light on their opulent palaces, intricate burial practices, and legendary warriors. Sites like the Kazanlak tomb in Bulgaria, which is adorned with murals depicting Thracian kings and gods, provide valuable insight into the wealth, power, and artistry. These tombs and artifacts preserve the grandeur of the Thracian royal courts, offering a glimpse into their sophisticated society. Additionally, modern-day festivals and cultural events often pay homage to the Thracian kings and their people. The Thracian heritage is celebrated in various forms, from reenactments of ancient battles to performances of traditional music and dance. These celebrations help keep the memory of the Thracians alive and serve as a reminder of their important role in shaping the history and culture of the Balkans. Ultimately, the Thracian kings may have been conquered, but their influence continues to resonate in the modern world. Their legacy is not just found in the ruins of ancient palaces, but also in the enduring spirit of their people, whose cultural contributions to the region are still felt today. The story of the Thracian monarchy reminds us that even in the face of conquest and decline, the impact of a civilization can transcend the boundaries of time. The Thracians were not traditionally known as a seafaring people, but their mastery over the Black Sea's treacherous waters was formidable. The coastal Thracian tribes, particularly the ones near Salmydessus, developed a naval tradition born out of necessity. Their ships, small but nimble, were adept at navigating the turbulent waters of the Euxine Sea, Black Sea. Unlike the Roman and Hellenic fleets that focused on heavy triremes, Thracian vessels relied on speed and adaptability, making them perfect for hit-and-run tactics. Thracian coastal settlements like Salmydessus were strategically positioned to control maritime trade routes. Thracian pirates, a feared force, capitalized on this geography to launch raids on merchant ships, disrupting Rome's supply chains. The pirates' methods were highly effective. They attacked at dawn or during storms, exploiting the element of surprise and their intimate knowledge of the region's weather patterns. This made the Thracians not only warriors on land, but also masters of maritime guerrilla warfare. However, the naval power of the Thracians extended beyond piracy. They were also known for their ability to construct sturdy vessels, using the abundant oak and pine forests of their homeland. Thracian shipbuilders were skilled artisans, crafting vessels that could withstand the harsh conditions of the Black Sea. These ships were equipped with reinforced hulls and innovative designs that allowed for fast maneuvering, further solidifying their dominance in the region's waters. The Thracians' naval prowess became a significant thorn in Rome's side, forcing the empire to allocate substantial resources to counter the Thracian threat. This culminated in a series of naval engagements near Salmydessus, where Roman fleets struggled to outmaneuver the more agile Thracian vessels. Rome's patience with the Thracians' maritime exploits eventually wore thin. The Roman Senate, alarmed by the persistent disruption of their trade routes and the audacity of the Thracian raids, decided to take decisive action. A naval force, led by the experienced general Gaius Antistus, was dispatched to Salmydessus to confront the Thracians with superior numbers and advanced weaponry, showcasing the might of the empire. The Thracians, however, were prepared. Using their intimate knowledge of the coastline, they laid traps for the Roman fleet. Narrow straits and hidden coves became ambush points where Thracian ships attacked swiftly before retreating into the safety of the shore. The Romans, with their heavier and less maneuverable ships, found themselves at a disadvantage. The first few skirmishes were decisive victories for the Thracians, showcasing their tactical brilliance and their understanding of the terrain. Despite these setbacks, Rome adapted. Gaius Antistus began to employ strategies that countered the Thracians' hit-and-run tactics. Roman scouts mapped the coastline meticulously, and smaller, faster Roman ships were deployed to match the Thracian vessels. The Romans also employed psychological warfare, spreading rumors of divine punishment for Thracian piracy to undermine morale among the Thracian sailors. These measures began to turn the tide in Rome's favor. The clash between the Thracians and the Romans near Salmydessus became a protracted campaign, with both sides experiencing victories and losses. For the Thracians, the battles represented their unyielding spirit and refusal to bow to foreign dominance. For Rome, the campaign was a lesson in the importance of adaptability and respect for the enemy's capabilities. The stalemate persisted until Rome committed even greater forces, eventually pushing the Thracians back, but not without significant losses. The final chapter in the Battle of Salmydessus unfolded as Rome escalated its efforts to subdue the Thracians. A full-scale assault on the coastal stronghold was launched, involving both land and sea forces. The Thracians, realizing the dire situation, preparing for a last stand. Salmydessus, with its rugged cliffs and natural barriers, became a fortress. But the Thracians were outnumbered and outgunned. The Romans laid siege to Salmydessus, cutting off supply lines and bombarding the city with catapults and siege engines. The Thracians fought valiantly, employing guerrilla tactics even during the siege. At night, Thracian warriors would launch surprise raids on Roman camps, targeting surprise and morale. However, the relentless pressure from the Roman forces began to take its toll. Starvation and exhaustion weakened the defenders, and cracks in their resistance started to show. The final assault was both brutal and decisive. Roman forces breached the city walls after weeks of continuous bombardment, engaging in fierce hand-to-hand combat with the Thracian defenders. The Thracians fought with unmatched ferocity, driven by the knowledge that this battle represented not just their survival, but their independence. Despite their bravery, the overwhelming might of the Roman legions proved too much to overcome, and Salmydessus fell to the invaders. The fall of Salmydessus marked a turning point in the Thracian struggle against Rome. The loss of the coastal stronghold not only weakened the Thracians' maritime power, but also demoralized their forces. Many Thracians were captured and enslaved, while others fled into the mountainous interior to continue their resistance. Salmydessus, once a symbol of Thracian resilience, became a somber reminder of the cost of defying the Roman Empire. Although the Thracians were ultimately defeated at Salmydessus, their resistance against Rome left a lasting impression. The battle demonstrated the Thracians' ingenuity and courage, proving that even a small and under-resourced force could challenge the might of the Roman Empire. The strategies employed by the Thracians, particularly their mastery of guerrilla warfare and naval tactics, would influence future conflicts in the region. The legacy of Salmydessus also highlighted the Thracians' determination to preserve their independence and way of life. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the Thracians refused to surrender without a fight. This spirit of resistance became a defining characteristic of Thracian culture, inspiring later generations to uphold their heritage and resist foreign domination, whether Roman or otherwise. For Rome, the battle served as a stark reminder of the challenges of imperial expansion. The Thracians' ability to exploit their knowledge of the land and sea forced the Romans to adapt and innovate. The lessons learned during the campaign against Salmydessus would shape Roman military strategies in future campaigns, particularly in regions with difficult terrain and fiercely independent populations. In the centuries that followed, the story of Salmydessus became part of the Thracian identity, a symbol of their bravery and resilience. Although the Thracians would eventually be absorbed into the Roman Empire, their legacy lived on through their cultural contributions and the stories of their resistance. Salmydessus stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of a people who refused to bow easily, leaving an indelible mark on the history of the ancient world.